Just 2 months after the release of the P7000, Elephone has released the P8000, another highly anticipated and competitively priced handset from Elephone. Boasting 3GB of RAM, an octa-core chipset, and a full 1080p screen, this phone looks to be a smash hit for Elephone. Is this phone an instant buy? Continue watching my videos to find out. The phone is quite large. It is the exact same size as the Elephone P7000, which is definitely not a compliment. For someone with small hands like me, I can barely reach half the screen and I need 2 hands just to use the phone. If you have bigger hands, this might not be an issue though. The phone is also very heavy, much heavier than I expected, no way around it. The weight does come with the benefit of feeling good quality though. Just like the P7000, Elephone has also tried to hide the rather large bezels around the screen by coloring them black so you think it's part of the screen, but I don't think it's fooled anyone yet. The bottom of the device has the home button which lights up and the back and menu buttons that are just dots, but it's quite obvious which is which. The home button also doubles as a notification LED, and it does look pretty cool. The same metal band on the P7000 can be found here as well, and give this phone a much more premium feel. The volume and power buttons are located on the right side of the phone and are of quite good quality. The back of the device is plastic and does not feel like that at all. In fact, it feels very close to the carbon fiber cases sold by Ghost Armor or D brand, and I really appreciate that. The plastic back cover flexes quite a bit when trying to take it off, and once you do get it off, you find a non-removable 4000 mAh battery, 2 SIMs and an SD card slot. The back of the phone holds the camera, flash, fingerprint sensor, and the Elephone logo. While this phone is large and heavy, there is no doubt that this phone looks and feels very high quality. It's definitely very close in design to the P7000, but looks and feels different enough to stand on its own as the P8000. It's also quite durable, so there's not much to worry about there. The 5.5-inch 1080p display looks great. Colors are accurate, everything looks crisp, and in general this display will be absolutely great for anything you do. Elephone has also used Mirror Vision, a software to enhance the display quality, and it seems like it's doing its job just fine. Color temperature seems a little on the cool side, but nothing to detract from the display. Maximum brightness is around 450 nits, which technically isn't that bright. However, it's really easy to see the screen even in direct sunlight. I'm incredibly impressed by the outdoor visibility of the screen. The display quality on the P8000 is really top notch. The resolution looks great, color reproduction is accurate, and it has excellent sunlight visibility. So far, the Elephone P8000 is shaping up to be a great phone. While the back cover of the phone has a long speaker grill, opening up the phone shows just a single mono speaker in this phone. The speaker's volume output is okay, sufficient volume for most things, but definitely not loud enough for a shopping mall. Quality, however, is another story, as the quality seems quite shallow and seems to lack a soundstage. Playing music from the speakers just doesn't sound very good, and the speakers also lack bass. Any sort of deep sounds will come off as tinny. I'm quite disappointed with the quality of the speaker here.
It just feels like every time I win, I still lose.
My mother used to say the universe doesn't give without taking.
I'm going to give you the thing you want most, Barry. But it won't matter.
I'm quite happy with the size of the battery that Elephone has placed in the P8000. At 4000 mAh, it should provide great battery life for this phone, even though the screen is 5.5 inches. I ran through 2 battery tests, the web browsing and the video playback test. I set the screen brightnesses to 250 nits and reloaded web pages over Wi-Fi every few seconds. The phone died after 11 hours and 3 minutes. In the video playback test, the screen brightness was also 250 nits and a standard definition video was played. The phone played back video for 14 hours and 16 minutes. These are great results. Real-life battery usage matches the results above. The phone was off the charger for a total of 18 hours. Data, Wi-Fi, and the fingerprint sensor was also on. I racked up a total of 6 hours of screen on time, and that included an hour of Hearthstone, and I had about 10% battery left when I went to bed. You definitely won't have to worry about battery life here. This phone will be able to carry heavy users through one day without an issue, and light users can easily get 2 or maybe even 3 days out of this phone. The only phones with comparable or better battery life are phones like the Amlace MX Base and the Elephone P4000, which have similar battery capacities but smaller screens. Android 5.1 is installed completely stock on the Elephone P7000, and Elephone has installed a very light skin with custom icons on top of stock Android, which is easily switched through the settings menu. Unlike the P7000, General use is silky smooth, and there is no lag at all to be found anywhere. Launching apps is extremely fast as well. Elephone didn't include smart gestures in this phone, which is surprising. It is something I've come to rely on heavily with any phone I get. I'm quite disappointed that Elephone has not included smart gestures in this phone. Every single change from the P7000 so far has been great, but the fingerprint sensor is an exception. Unlike the P7000, the fingerprint sensor on the P8000 is generally inaccurate. It failed about 30% of the time, or about 3 out of 10 times, which is a lot and can get very frustrating. I suspect it is because the fingerprint sensor is smaller in size than the P7000 and thus has less finger area to work with. I am quite disappointed with the fingerprint sensor in this phone. The notification LED on this phone is located on the home button and works like most other LEDs. The LED will pulse to alert you of different messages. It has multiple languages as well. Pause the video to see if your language is supported. Elephone did not separate the storage into multiple partitions, but kept everything in one huge partition of 12 gigs, and that is something I greatly appreciate and have come to expect of Elephone since they have done that with every Elephone they've had. The MTK6753, while less powerful than the MTK6752, is still a powerful processor and had no problems running intensive games on the 1080p resolution, no doubt helped by the 3 gigs of RAM. I installed and ran Need for Speed and played it when there was no lag whatsoever. Other games like this little lock game also worked perfectly as well. I ran Antutu and got a score of about 32,000, which is a little on the low side for the MTK6753 and a lot lower in general than the MTK6752, but general use is silky smooth, so don't worry about that. This phone supports tri-band GSM, dual-band WCDMA, and quad-band LTE. GSM is lacking 1 band and WCDMA is lacking 2 bands, making network compatibility a lot worse than other phones, which is a trend with the recent MTK6753 phones. Be sure to check if this phone works with your carrier. Reception was okay. I got 4G signals everywhere when my other phones got 4G signals, so I don't have any complaints there. I ran speed tests and got 25 megabits down and 5 megabits up, which is average for a 4G connection. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS was also quite good. I never lost signal once or jumped around, or lost signal with the Wi-Fi, so no complaints there. The main complaints I have with the connectivity is the dual-band WCDMA when many other phones have quad-band, causing mainly North American users to suffer. Other than that, data reception, GPS, and Bluetooth all work quite well. Just make sure your carrier supports this phone. This section of the video was captured using the Elephone P8000. Elephone used the Samsung S5K3L2 sensor, changed from the Sony IMX214 sensor used in the P7000, so let's see how good camera quality is. Camera quality on good lighting conditions is very good. Pictures are clear, color reproduction is accurate, and the depth of field is quite decent. Pictures snapped with this phone can measure up against big name phones like the iPhone 6 and the Galaxy S6. Pictures taken in dim lighting conditions isn't bad at all either. The front-facing camera is not bad, even in low light, so if you have the urge to take a duck face in a restaurant, go right ahead. The video quality is also pretty good, as you can see from this part of the video. Overall, I'm quite impressed with the camera quality. I'm very satisfied with this. So what is the verdict on the Elephone P8000? This phone packs some pretty amazing specs and delivers in many areas. Great battery life, fast and great screen, and a great camera are all reasons to buy this phone. However, is there anything that could be stopping you from buying this phone? Well, first of all, the fingerprint sensor isn't accurate at all and shouldn't be used, giving errors about 3 out of 10 times. The speaker quality just isn't that great either. But I think the biggest thing that would be the dual band WCDMA. If your carrier supports this phone, then great, it will satisfy you. If not, then you're out of luck and you should probably buy the P7000 instead. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button below and click on any of the videos that should be popping out right about now.